Good to see some old friends here and some of my colleagues, which is terrific. I think what I'm going to do is probably try and summarise some of what we've seen tonight and punctuate some elements as well. And one of the things I was looking at when we were looking at this particular topic was this crossover between, hello Phil, crossover between influencer and celebrity. Is it one of the same thing or is it different? So one of the questions I was asked was, how do you work it out? What do each of them do, or is there a difference between them? Hands up, anybody who knows this, who's this in this picture here? All right, maybe half. So that's quite interesting given that, you know, this lady's in the States. So what was it? We've already talked about this a little bit. What defines a social influencer? So they can be credible, famous on the internet first, self-built, subject matter expert. They could be a celebrity as well, or a human being bearing their soul. And I think Jay was talking about that just a moment ago. But what I think is important, and when we look at how you want to engage with your target audience, what's important is understanding who you want to engage with. Who is your target audience? And it's not males between 25 to 35 who drink beer and who go out. Be more specific. And the reason I say that is because, and use your strategic thinking and your strategic planning departments, if you have any, understand your target audience very, very carefully. The reason for doing that is because when you look at using an influencer, they're usually an expert in their field. They have a lot of power over the people that they talk to. They're very invested in the people that they talk to as well. It's their life, it's their craft, it's what they wake up and do every day. So brands can't expect to dictate the terms of these particular people or these influencers. So brands have to think differently if they really want to use an influencer as part of their campaign. And it's a new vocabulary, and the team have been talking about it. You work with them. You don't just say, hey, here's what we want to do. You need to work with them. You pick them because of their affiliation with an audience, which we talked about. They're not a mouthpiece for the brand. Your brand is something they just happen to choose to support, which for advertisers may be a very difficult thing to overcome, because I'm going to pay you money to do something with my brand or influence people. Well, you need to think a little bit carefully about that. Influencers often have mass impact. Think of your target audience. Celebrities offer mass reach. And I think there's a lot of lazy marketing that goes on that chooses this to help them and want to do that. Yeah? So what defines a celebrity or a brand ambassador? Does everybody know who this person is? Okay, you should, because he's the most valuable brand in the world in terms of celebrities. I think he's worth £680 million. That's how big he is. So he's someone who is primarily valued for his level of exposure as a celebrity. He's been made famous, or she has been made famous for something that they do, like singing, footballer, actor. But one of the challenges is that they may not necessarily be in charge of their own social channels. Somebody else might be doing it for them. Unlike an influencer who is invested in their target audience. They're not necessarily the content creators either, which is also quite important to understand. Sometimes there's a crossover. Sometimes some celebrities can be influencers and vice versa. So it's a very interesting world that we're living in and trying to work out what to do. Some watch outs. Brands will always come second to celebrities' agendas. And we all know that in terms of our engagement with KOLs or celebrities as such. It's all about their terms, whether they're available, at a certain time in their exclusivity. So I'm sure you've all had those challenges as well. So what are the opportunities for brands to use influencers then, if we wanted to look at that just for a moment? I'm going to show you a video that might help us understand that as well. Brands partner with social influencers because of, as I said, a specific target who trust, respect, and already have a relationship, that's a really important word, with the influencer. You get greater creativity and an opportunity for the brand because they're invested in their target audience. Their reputation is their livelihood, and their credibility is linked to the work that they do, so they're going to work hard to maintain that status quo. And for the brand, if they're invested in and they like the brand, they're passionate, they have opinions and ideas that they're willing to share with the brand. Sometimes you may not be wanting to listen to that, but actually you should, because they're the ones that have the direct connection to your key target audience. And brands can learn from them. I might show a video now that might just help. It's a very good case that was in the US. One of the last things that you'll see at the end is how it moves sales and also share price, which is really quite interesting. So I'm going to show you a quick video.
When Wendy's launched its new pretzel bacon cheeseburger, our social monitoring identified that people loved it. So, for the national launch in July of 2013, we literally sang their words right back to them as pretzel bacon cheeseburger love songs.
OMG, I love the pretzel burger from Wendy's. It's delicious. Fireworks in my mouth hole. This could be the most flame thing ever.
These love songs increase social chatter and trial by using our fans' tweets and Facebook posts about the new cheeseburger as the actual lyrics, misspellings, hashtags, and all.
Holly Cowbell just had the new pretzel burger, life-changing.
Every week for 5 weeks, new tweets and posts were collected in real time. New love songs were scored, and a new video was rushed to production and released online. We even had former boy band balladeer Nick Lachey lend his famous voice to our 5th and final video.
Bro, that at Wendy's bacon pretzel burger looks incredible. Wendy's worked hard all day, ate something in my tummy. Wendy's pretzel burger, why are you so yummy?
In the end, the pretzel bacon cheeseburger was the brand's most successful product launch ever.
You have to hear this, guys. Those are all tweets that people have written about Wendy's pretzel bun bacon cheeseburger. I mean, he's over the top, and there are lines in it. He sings, "This is awesome town." That's right. We covered it. It's made their stock go through the roof.
Hashtag pretzel love songs. That's right. Hashtag pretzel love songs. Genius!
Hashtag pretzel love songs is hands down. This is awesome town. Thanks for sharing the Wendy's pretzel bacon cheeseburger love, planet Earth.
Okay, quite a funny case study really, but what I liked about that is the fact the sales, share price, there's a whole lot of things that it did. Very interesting case study. So how can brands benefit from working with social influencers? Well, key thing here is that they can also help to define what the brand is, what it does, how it acts, how it's engaged, how it listens to what people want as well. So it can actually act as a filter in helping brands understand more about how the brand can succeed. It can also be an influence, and I think some of the team talked about this in terms of providing creative inspiration and guidance, insights into the target audience. I don't think we do it enough. I think that the strategic planning and the insights part, especially in the marketing area, can be a little bit lazy, and the same with the agencies in that sense. Really understanding your target audience and what motivates them is really important. So you'll get a deeper understanding of your target, which in turn may influence how you go about your marketing strategy. choosing the right influencer. A couple of key points, and I'm not going to bore you for much longer, I hope. It's all about the target audience. Who are you trying to influence? It takes time. You can't necessarily, although we have a friend here who might be able to do that for you very quickly, it takes time. You can't just necessarily go to a talent agent and ask for the top influencer. Again, you've got to think about who you're talking to. It depends on the objective, whether you want more of a broadcast an approach or creating understanding, deep impact or broad mass understanding in that sense. Tools for measuring, really important because everybody's talking about ROI and everybody's concerned about the dollars spent. So this is another component that you should look at. Influencers are not always famous, as we've talked about, and actually, if you're launching a new product, maybe it's a chef or someone that has a deep following against a particular category that's going to help you. So be aware of that as well. Brands should be open-minded. We've talked about that, and flexible. That's not always the case, but I think you need to if you're going to use an influencer. For some brands, the influencers are becoming the heart of many key campaigns, and I think the Wendys one was a good example. This is the point of view from me and the team, which is if you want to become more engaged, work with influencers. If you're looking at creating greater brand awareness, perhaps you should be looking at more celebrities. But this line is becoming more blurred, but as a general rule, this may help. I was also asked to do what you shouldn't do, and Singapore can be quite good at telling us what we shouldn't do. There was a campaign for Peel Fresh, and they had this terrific idea of getting some KOLs, giving them cartons of Peel Fresh juice, and saying to people that during the hot season, don't drink water, drink juice. Well, most of the net citizens mocked the campaign. It wasn't credible, it was fake. It was an insult to people's intelligence, and above all, it was lazy marketing, right? So you had people holding it's just appalling. That's what you don't do, yeah? If you want to cause problems with your real target, this is one way of doing it. Look, in summary, and I may have missed some of the components, but and I've mentioned a couple of times, one of the key ones for me is understanding your target and who you're trying to influence, yeah? So influencers are famous or popular for being experts in their field and affiliation with their audience. There's some crossover, as we spoke about. They can provide inspiration and guidance and insights into the audience as well. People trust people, not brands. Yeah. And the ad speak that goes on. People are very savvy now. Consumers are savvy, so let's not insult them. For me, impact is more important than reach. Impact in terms of if you're going to use an influencer, it needs to be connected to a target audience that you're trying to influence. Measurement, clear objectives, KPIs, you need to have that if you're going to move forward. Long-term, always-on relationship approach with influence can be very impactful for brands and very cost-effective. I think that was one of the other key points here. You know, it's a powerful opportunity to drive sales success as well. So I think we may have captured most of the points there. I hope I haven't bored you with this presentation and kept within the 15 minutes. Thank you very much.